Hello and welcome to Relationship Soup. I'm your host, Lisa Hughes. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. How y'all doing today? How was your weekend? How's your week? Y'all having a good week? Y'all still enjoying 2026? Is 2026 still treating y'all good? Anyway, I appreciate y'all so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate y'all. I hope that y'all are having a fantastic week so far. I hope that your weekend is off to a great start. So life is really good right now. Life is good. Hey, we gonna get into a really good episode tonight. You know, we just gonna relax and do a little recap, but I'm gonna get into that in a moment, y'all. Now, y'all already know. I really appreciate y'all for pulling up. So whether you're watching me live on Facebook, YouTube, whether you're catching the replay, I see you, I love you, and I appreciate you, right? Now, okay, I see the comment already, right? I'm going to bring your comments on. I know last week, we're going to get into last week, y'all. That's what we're going to get into. So, you hear, let me know you hear. I'll bring your comment on. And if I don't, please forgive me because sometimes these platforms don't talk to each other, right? And I don't really be seeing y'all comments until after I rewatch the show. So anyway. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get some, you know what? Let me do this before I get the housekeeping done because I got to add some to the housekeeping list. I want us all to kind of come into agreement with prayer, love, and light. Y'all remember my guest 22, aka Clarence Underwood? Y'all probably remember him. He was on my show around or about a couple weeks ago. He's the brother that had the assessment on compatibility and all of that, right? Anyway, a friend of mine hit me up over the weekend, was it? And said that he's in the hospital. Y'all, he's in the hospital and he's not doing so well. Now, I don't have an update right now. I'm sure I will be getting one and I'll keep you all posted. So let's be in agreement and send some prayer, love, and light to Clarence Underwood. Look, brother, if you are, recovering, I believe that you will. Look, you got to get through this, right? You're going to get through this, whatever it is. All right. So I just wanted to say that. So please keep Clarence Underwood, aka 22, in your prayers. All right. All right. Boom. So now that we've got that. All right. Okay. I see your comments. Let me go and bring them on. Hey, cousin Desiree, how are you? Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. I don't ever take it for granted that you join me. You don't miss. You ain't missed yet. So I really appreciate you, fam. All right, so let's go ahead and get some housekeeping out of the way, y'all. You already know what I'm going to say. So, but if you're new here, this is what I'm going to do. My housekeeping chores is just basically, you should be liking, subscribing across all platforms, y'all. You already know. On YouTube, Relationship Soup, period. You got to put the period or you're going to be somewhere else, right? Now, if you want, it ain't no if, get in the room. Join the forum, y'all. Relationship Soup group. We talk about all things relationships in there. So get in there. If you want to follow me, it's Relationship Soup LLC. That kind of sounds like a bar a little bit, right? Little, kind of. What y'all say? Don't quit my day job. I ain't going to quit it. Now, anyway, we have the greeting cards. It's relationshipsoup.com. All right. Now, y'all. Now, listen, let me go and take this off because I appreciate y'all so much. The love that y'all have been showing me is absolutely amazing. Now, hold on. I know I've been talking about it. Y'all. Remember what I said I was waiting for? Look, I'm unboxing it now. Right now. Right? So y'all seeing it here. I've been talking about Hello Me, and it had the little proofs. Not no more, y'all. Look. Check it out. I got the Arthur's copies, y'all. Boom. Y'all see this? Got them. It don't have the proof on there. It's getting real, y'all. This journey's getting so real, and I appreciate all the love that y'all are showing me. I really, really appreciate all the love that y'all are showing Hello Me, okay? Now, Hello Me is my 100-page affirmation picture book with journal for children. The official release date is February 23rd. And y'all know why I chose February 23rd. February 23rd is my daddy's birthday, right? So, hey, Hello Me will be released then. You can order it you can order it on Amazon. All formats. The ebook is on pre-sale right now, but there's the hardback here. And the paperback, see, it don't have the proof on there, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm so excited. All right. So you can order all the formats, okay, available on Amazon. All right. And this book is amazing. I love your feedback so far. I'm getting so much love on Hello Me. Y'all have followed the pages. You have commented on the different posts. You've sent me the DMs. You're sending me pictures and stuff like that. Y'all even telling me what y'all favorite affirmations are. Hey, y'all reading these to the babies. Y'all giving these to the babies, but at the same time, you're looking at the affirmations. Y'all, just let me show y'all a little piece. A little piece. Look how beautiful those affirmations are. Right? Well, if you can read it. Right? Look how beautiful the illustrations are, y'all. I'm telling y'all, this book right here, this is life. This is life. So give the gift of speaking positive of life to a deserving child, whether it's that grandbaby, whether it's a student, whether it's your own baby. Give them Hello Me. Introduce these kids to Hello Me. They need to be saying Hello Me because this world gonna tear them up. You already know. This world gonna tear them up. So anyway, I had to share unboxing it in real time. Okay. And Amazon, this box a little ugly. I see y'all was throwing my little box around because it's all jacked up. I'm telling you, but it's all good. The product's still good. So I'm going to keep you all posted. I do have some events and stuff coming up. I know that several of you all have requested signed copies and all that. We gonna listen. We gonna make it happen. And I just want to say thank you. Oh yeah, and if you're ordering, let me say this. When you ordering my book, Hello Me. And bring it back out. When y'all ordering this book, please give a review on Amazon. That is so important. So don't forget to review it. Okay. Purchasing it, chef's kiss. Review it. Yes, please make sure that you do that. And you can follow Hello Me on Super Bookshelf. It's just Super Bookshelf across all platforms, and I will put that in a thread. So I see y'all comments already. Let me go ahead and bring on some of these comments before we get into the show. Coach Boyd, thank you so much. I appreciate you. See, you got to get back in this room. It's been a minute, okay? So you got to get back in this room. Thank you so much, Tonality. I really appreciate you. How do you order? You definitely have to order on Amazon. I did share the link on my Facebook page. I know it was in the thread last week. Let me go ahead and bring on this little banner right quick because you know what? There's a QR code for that. So let me go ahead and bring that on. So you should be able to see that QR code in the corner. I hope I'm pointing right. I think I'm pointing right. So there's the QR code. You can actually scan that and you can order Hello Me. And here's another QR code. So look, hey, there's a couple QR codes that y'all can hit to order Hello Me. All right, hopefully I'm pointing right because it'd be reversed. So you can scan that, or you can go to Amazon and you can just type in Hello Me by Lisa Hughes. There's another Lisa Hughes on there with a book called Hello Me, but it ain't my book. Just look for this beautiful face. Just look for this beautiful face, y'all. Hello Me by Lisa Hughes. All right, boom. So guess we got that out of the way, and I'll talk about it again. I will go ahead and post the link in the thread as well so that you can order Hello Me. My Facebook page is public, so if you click on my page, you'll see some links and stuff like that. And I'm also offering a free sneak peek. So what is that? Glad y'all asked. So the free sneak peek is just basically where you can download some of the book. You get a little sneak peek. Okay, so yeah, just go ahead and you can find that at Super Bookshelf. So I'll put all that in the thread. All right. So let's see here. Thank you so much, Dr. Cooper. You know I appreciate you, beautiful. I really do. Oh, thank you so much, LaShonda. I appreciate you, beautiful. I really do. You know I'm available whenever you're okay. So when I call or DM you, don't be leaving me on red. Okay. I'm gonna need you to answer. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into this show today because, like I said, this episode. Let me move this over. I'm so happy. I was so happy to get this. It was like Christmas, not Christmas. It was like Christmas in January. I was so happy to get that. All right, y'all. So, hey, cousin Melvin, thank you so much for joining me. You know I appreciate you. You don't miss either, cousin. You be on here every week. that I be going live. Let me not say every week, because I was just about to lie to kick it, because I don't be going live every week, most weeks, right? So I appreciate you. I'm just saying, Coach Boy, listen, I'm going to hit you up, right? It's New Year. We got some new things lined up for Relationship Soup, so I definitely want you to be a part of it. Okay, so now we have a new listener, Martin. What's that? Martin Nori 8630. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Make sure that you're hitting subscribe. I see you're watching from YouTube, so make sure that you hit subscribe, like if you feel in this content. All right, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Cousin Melvin. I appreciate you. All right, so let me go ahead and get into this episode, y'all. Like I said, this episode, it's going to be pretty easy and laid back. This is Elisa's lens. And basically, I just want to revisit our episode with Kevin last week. Y'all remember Kevin? Y'all remember Kevin Rhames from last week? So this week, we're just going to revisit some of the points that he made, because there were so many jewels dropped on that episode. Am I lying? For those of you that were able to watch. But if you haven't watched, let me challenge you to go back and watch it. We're going to give a recap here. We're going to talk about some things, so feel free to put whatever in the chat, and I'll bring your comments on. We'll just talk about it. So this episode is just going to be pretty much easy breezy. We're just going to kind of get into some things, recap, and then I'm going to get out of here, because y'all know what day it is. For those that have been here, it's a Tuesday, and y'all already know by 8 o'clock what time it is. All right. So anyway, thank y'all so much for your comments. I really, 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 really appreciate y'all. And I'm going to bring them on in a minute. So let me go ahead and get into this. All right. So if you need to grab your beverage or whatever to get in this, relax, get back, get ready. All right. So for y'all that missed the episode, I'm going to do a recap. So last week, my guest was Kevin Rhames. Who's Kevin Rhames? For those of you who that don't know, he's also known as Q and Low. And he was so serious about that, because once I learned his name, I'm calling him Kevin, right? And he was just like, man, it's so weird. Like, people at work call me Kevin. I'm used to people calling me Q or Low. So when I hear Kevin, I go into professional mode. So anyway, we was kikiing about that. But anyway, Kevin, AKA Q, AKA Low, is a legendary, and I mean legendary producer. He produced one of music's iconic artists, not even an entertainer, an artist. Okay, I made that distinction. Tupac Shakur. And he produced so many songs. One of them was Pain. That was one of my favorite. I still bump that to this day. All right. And he was very instrumental in the Thug Life movement. So the accolades are there. And, you saw his gold and platinum albums. All that was in the back. His accolades were in the back. But that's one thing, y'all, about Kevin. And we talked about this on that last episode. Kevin was very down to earth. Like, actually, I met him through a friend of mine. It was a bunch of us hanging out. And he was like, a friend of mine was like, hey, yo, Lisa got a podcast. You need to meet her or whatever. And so we literally are talking and, just a conversation, and it's so down to earth. Like, I didn't know, he didn't lead with his accolades. He didn't lead with, hey, I was Tupac's, woo. No, it wasn't even like that. And so that's something that really stood out to me about Kevin. He didn't lead with the music, and he didn't stop at the music, if that makes sense. What he talked about last week, he dedicated himself to mentorship, youth empowerment, public speaking. He's a techie now, and he's into innovation, and he's also a speaker. And so he's someone who definitely made his mark and his impact in the music industry. But like I said, he didn't stop at that. He was like, yo, he from New York. So I'm sure he probably said, yo. Sorry. All right. He probably was like, yo, what's next? What's the purpose behind it? And that is so significant, because let's just be real. How many of us have asked that question at some point? How many of us are asking that question even now, especially with everything's going on? How many of y'all right now are like, what's next? What's the purpose? What's the point? Right? So, and like I said, this is just so relatable. And that is one of the many things that made the last episode powerful to me and impactful. Not only were we talking about the music, because guess we talked about pop. We talked about the music industry. but we talked about relationships and how all of that interconnected, how the art, the people, the community, even the struggle, how it all connects, because everything connects. Everything starts with a relationship of some sort. Am I lying? It does. So that's what we basically covered. And what I'm going to do in this episode, I'm just going to break it down a couple talking points. And I always be like, man, I ain't going to go for the whole hour on here, but we're going to see. Because you already know, like I said, on a Tuesday, it's my full day. So I'll be a little hungry. So anyway, so Kevin. So one thing that Kevin came out the gate saying, and for some of us, we have seen hip hop evolve, right? Now, I ain't going to act like, I was there for the very first hip hop song. I ain't going to lie to kick it. However, some of us have been able to see it evolve. And one thing Kevin said out the gate, he was like, yo, I am an artist. I ain't an entertainer. Y'all remember when he said that? Right? So it's like, some of y'all might think, well, what's the difference? And some of y'all are conscious enough to know the difference. But if you don't know the difference, that's okay. I'm going to break it down. So he said out the gate, I'm not an entertainer. I'm an artist. Okay. So the difference, an entertainer basically chases the crowd. They're chasing the bag, the check, right? It just comes from a different place. They're chasing the fame. But an artist creates from a place. Right. And someone like I've had the experience of being able to work around different artists and stuff like that because of the industries that I've been in. And you can definitely differentiate between the artist and the entertainer. So they come from something deeper than just play check. But you can't play with the check because some of them checks is nice. But anyway, so deeper than a paycheck or the plaques. OK. Kevin talked about how in the 90s, hip hop wasn't about just a movement. It was a movement, y'all. It was a fight, right? He even referenced that era and how some of the people in power were basically trying to shut hip hop down. And so he also spoke about how the artists and the producers, how they united and said, nah, this is our freedom of speech. We ain't going nowhere. And that's the energy that Kevin came up in. It was never just about selling records. It was about protecting the culture and impacting the culture. And I absolutely love that, right? Don't get me wrong. I mean, the industry music, that's all good, but it's layers to it, right? And I believe that what he was doing mattered beyond the music. And to me, I feel like he communicated that as well. It carried him through everything else. What else did Kevin say? Yeah, so something I want you to think about, because this really had me thinking. Even after I was able to watch the episode a couple times, it really made me think. Think about the reason behind the reason, even what you're doing. Because if you're doing whatever you're doing for just the reward at the end, that's entertainment. But if you're doing it because it's connected to something bigger than you, that's artistry. That's purpose. What y'all think about that? That's just really what came to me. All right. So let me see. I got any comments going on? Let's see here. All right. Let me see. I'm going to bring y'all comments on in a minute. Give me a second, y'all. All right. So let's see. So we went on and we talked about his relationship with Tupac. That's basically what we led with because, like I said, relationships, we talked about relationships of all kinds. And so in this episode, like I said earlier, we connected relationships, and how it is connected to everything. So like Kevin was saying, his relationship with Tupac just was not a business arrangement. It was not like, yo, I done made the beat, you done rap to it, and that's it. These two men met when they were young, like young. And it was before the world knew Tupac as the icon to me that he still is, right? Kevin described them as youngins as just trying to figure it out. He went further to even saying that, hey, some of the ways that they was moving was stupid, right? But when it came to the music, it was all about culture all the time. And something that really hit me, and I'm paraphrasing, okay? Kevin talked about when Pot was angry in his music, it was because he was hurt. He wasn't performing. He wasn't lying to kick it. He was actually feeling it. And yeah, I want y'all to think about something. And I'm not saying that these artists don't exist today, because it is some artists still today, right? It's, to me, it adds impact when an artist performs and they're actually feeling it. It's not just a performance, because I mean, performance performance is basic, it's regular, you know. So it's just that vulnerability, that rawness that made Tupac connect with so many people on such a deep level. And Kevin talked about how he learned from that, and even Tupac's radicalness, and his love for the culture, and how he was pouring into people through art with intention, right? Intention is something that's really important, y'all. And it starts with intention, whether it's the music industry, whether it's personal, professional, whatever. Intention sets the stage. It's not just about making a song. It's about making an impact, and how that impact impacts people, right? So anyway, that just really made me think. And yeah, that was just so profound to me. Let's see here. Where else do I want to go? Forgive me, y'all. I'll be sitting under this space heater, so it be hot in here for real. So sometimes when I be wearing like my little sleeveless and stuff, it be really hot in here. But anyway, so another thing that I want to address, I see your comments, I'm gonna bring them on in a second, that really made me think. Now, y'all should know, right? Especially if y'all got any timelessness on you, okay? He addressed the Tupac and Biggie situation. Y'all remember when he talked about that on the show? And that really made me think. Now, he didn't go into all the details, and I really respect that. But he did say that those two could have mended it. And that really hit me. That hit me in my heart. It really did. And he compared it to how kids fight, with their best friends. You say something and feelings get hurt, and then a few days later, y'all back to normal. And in Kevin's opinion, he said that it was truly never beyond repair, that they could have repaired it. And that really had me thinking. When I was thinking about this episode and how I wanted to move with it, something really came to me. And y'all, and I feel like it's a lesson for all of us. Sometimes some of us can hold on to things, grudges, hurt feelings, pride. And sometimes we hold on to those things so long that the chance to fix it actually disappears forever. Right? And not only that, the impact that it can have on your physical and your mental, right? So that's just something to think about. That's a jewel that he dropped, and that's just something to marinate on. All right. So anyway, another thing that we got into, let's see here. Okay, I see your comments. Let's see here. Okay, so Tonality says there's a difference in being a beat maker versus producer. As a producer, I love the process of creating from inception to the finished product. Absolutely. Yeah, I can see that. Look, I have my little experience. Y'all don't roast me. Like, there was a software, I don't even know if it still exists because I'm on the other side of things now. It's called Fruity Loops. Did y'all read? Yeah, Fruity Loops? No. Anyway, so I made a beat before, and it's on one of my old Macs somewhere. But anyway, all right, so y'all, so let's go ahead and get into this. So another thing that we talked about was grief, right? And Kevin's turning point, because he talked about a shift. I asked Kevin, one of the questions I asked was around loss and grief, and about how losing someone transforms you. Many of us have probably experienced a loss, and it has been transformative. One of the losses I've talked about is the loss of my father, right? And through various episodes of how it transformed, and it's still transforming me. So when Kevin and I were having this conversation, it really resonated with me. And one thing that he talked about, and Kevin didn't hold back, and I really appreciated this about him. He talked about his mother. As you know, his mother was a single mom. He mentioned how she was a single mom of 4, raising 4 kids. I believe it was Harlem, right, in New York. And she had a consistent message for her children. She would say, "Don't you ever let nobody change who you are." That is so significant, because this world, not only is this world going to come at you, not only is life going life, it's important to stay true to who you are. Because let's just be honest. How many of y'all really feel like y'all are operating in your true self? It might be time for some of y'all to say, "Hello, me." because maybe you've lost connection with your true self. Are you operating under your true self, or are you operating in a sense of where this world has molded you, whether it be relationships, whether it be loss or whatever? Think about that. Are you truly you? Who are you? If somebody was to ask you that, how would you answer that? So anyway, like I said, Kevin was talking about his mother and the message that she gave. Don't ever let anybody, nobody, or anything change who you are. Now, Kevin said, as a youngin', he didn't get it. It didn't really hit him until she passed. Right? Isn't that something that sometimes things don't resonate? We don't get it until we get grown or a loss happens. Right? And he said that basically it hit him like a wave, because that's what she was trying to protect him all along. His identity, his core, his self, separate from the music, separate from the fame, separate from everything in the world. That's what she was really trying to pour into him, because this world, it is what it is, and it's nothing to beat yourself up about, because we are constantly evolving. Right. Another thing, I need to hear that beat, Weeks. It's on one of my old Macs. I don't even know if that Mac on Turn On Fruit Loop still exists. It's called FL Studio now. Young producer, go ham with it. Hit boy. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I can try to pull it up. Maybe I'll play it on one of my future episodes. It was like a super old Mac. I don't even think they make that. I know they don't make it, because y'all already know with Apple, they constantly coming out with technology. All right, so boom. So another thing that Kevin talked about was that his mother was never really proud of his hip hop career. Not the gold, not the platinum, not the record deal. She was most proudest when he shifted his focus to impacting people. Right? And sit with that for a moment. Sometimes the people that we love the most, because it really matters. If I love you, what you say, think about me matters. If I truly love you, that stuff matters, right? But sometimes the people who love us the most and who we love the most aren't impressed by the things that we think should impress them. Am I lying? They're watching something deeper. They're watching who we're becoming. And Kevin, he talked about that, and that really hit me after I watched the episodes, and I was really marinating on that. That really resonated with me, And another thing that Kevin said, and one thing I can really appreciate is Kevin's vulnerability during the interview. He was very transparent, and very vulnerable. One thing he said was he talked about how he nearly lost his life, and it was after those close calls that somebody said to him, look, God is trying to get your attention. And y'all, that's when everything shifted. He described it as a burning bush with Moses. He went into that, and something happened that he couldn't ignore. And from that point on, his whole life direction changed. Isn't that something? How loss can be so transformative, right? He even shared something about, I believe it was Tupac's grandmother, right? Where he said that when Tupac was a child, that she had a vision. I believe he said grandmother, if I remember that right. A spiritual vision. And, so he went into detail about that. And he said that that's something that the world has never heard before. And he shared it on the show. And I can really appreciate that. So I feel like that's kind of exclusive, right? So when we talk about grief and growth, Kevin is living proof that sometimes the deepest transformation doesn't come from what we build. It comes from what we lose, right? Sometimes you lose, and that's when transformation comes. It's almost sometimes like when you walk away from a situation, and then that person want to transform after you didn't left, because they done lost probably one of the best things they ever had. Now I know that's a little much, but anyway, so and what we choose to do with that after the loss is what matters, because the truth of the matter is, life, there's losses in life, and it's about what you do with it. All right. So I just thought that was pretty significant. Let's see here. So Marie says, my mama, Miss Jones, loves my beats, but she is more impressed with my genuine prayers and love for God and my people. That's a beautiful thing. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so let's see. Another thing that we talked about was mission and the mentorship in youth. And y'all know that youth is, those causes are close to my heart. So Kevin, now we know why he shifted. The loss caused his shift. And now what we're going to get into is what Kevin shifted to. Because this is where I think all of it was good, but this was really good. Because like I said, youth are close to my heart. So Kevin is deeply involved into mentorship, y'all. He goes to school, he speaks to young adults, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And one thing that I really thought was genius, y'all remember when he talked about, like, when he gets in front of the youth, he'll ask them, like, what's your name and who do you aspire to be? What's your name and who do you aspire to be? How many of y'all were asked that when you were young by somebody who was influential, right? And the kids would say things. He went on, I want to be a brain surgeon, or I want to start my own corporation, and I want to provide free healthcare. You know, real big, meaningful, purposeful stuff, right? And then after he shared, after the kids shared their dreams, Kevin pulls out, he told me, he would pull out his little albums and stuff. He turned his hat around, or whatever. He putting a hat on. And then he talked about, what do you think happened next? After that, the kids suddenly want to be a rapper. They want to be a performer. Everybody wants to be a producer. Now, the dreams that they shared just like 2 minutes before ago was gone. And I love Chef's Kiss, how Kevin used that moment. And as someone who deals with youth and who's passionate about youth, I love how he used that moment. He says, wait, what happened? 2 minutes ago, you wanted to be a brain surgeon. Now you want to be a rapper. And he tells them, pursue that dream first. The real one. The one that's wired to you. And if you still want to make music after that, go to the studio on the weekend, but lead with your purpose. How profound is that seed when it's planted in a young mind? Heck, how profound is that seed planted in a timeless grown person's mind? Think about that. Lead with your purpose. Are y'all leading in purpose right now? Do y'all feel like y'all leading in your purpose? Can y'all be honest? Do y'all feel like y'all leading in purpose? Do y'all feel like y'all walking in your purpose? Right? And I just, like I said, I love it so much that that's what Kevin does. And even when he dropped that jewel on the episode last week, because it's not that Kevin is anti-music. It's not, because throughout the conversation, he still, brought it back to music. He brought it back to Tupac, right? He's not putting it down. He's just saying that technology and social media, and I think we can all agree that it's made it easy to see someone else's success, someone else's life. It's easy to even compare yourself and, your mind be molded into, oh, that's what I need to be doing. This is what success looks like. This is what purpose looks like. But your purpose is yours. It's already inside of you, right? And you should never let anyone else's highlight reel overwrite that, So I just really thought that was so significant, how he balanced it, with, hey, I ain't bashing music, but lead with your purpose. And I feel like his credentials made that statement even more credible. And even like he's walking it, he's living it. So I thought that was a beautiful thing. So let's see here. Where else do I want to go? And, another thing that Kevin talked about, and it's crazy because I was just having this conversation a little bit earlier today about how the youth of today, they're dealing with trauma that didn't really exist at a time when he was growing up, right? So I think he was like 80s, 90s or whatever, kids seeing so much violence. Kids are so desensitized now, more so than, not saying that we didn't see stuff, because we saw stuff. But think about it. These lives, these Facebook lives, these TikTok lives, whatever, right? I'm not really on TikTok anymore. I'm kind of done with TikTok after the sale. So, but I'm just referencing it because we talked about it last week. And on YouTube, like, they're exposed to so much, even through the video games and just through different things, technology. And basically how some of them really don't have a male figure or a stable figure to help them process it. And so that's why Kevin shows up, and that's why he does the work. And I just absolutely love that. There are so many reels that I've seen where men, especially Black men, are showing up for the youth, and they're taking up for the youth, and they're making impact on the youth. Because regardless, I'm not taking anything from a feminine. I'm not taking anything away from us, because I know the impact I'm making, right? I'm walking my talk too. But at the same time, a man is very powerful, right? And brings balance. I mean, it takes a male and female to make a child. So, a lot of what we see are the women making an impact. I think it's a beautiful thing when the males are doing it too. And it's just about balance. It ain't about no competition. It ain't about bashing. It ain't about putting no wedge. It's balance. And I appreciate what he's doing. And brothers, get out there. Some of y'all know what y'all had to grow up with. Y'all didn't have that. Some of y'all did not have that stable male figure. You didn't have it. So take that, make lemonade out of it, and make an impact, because you do. You can make an impact. So anyway, I thought that was a beautiful thing. And he's doing it for free. Right? But, somebody has to, right? We can't complain about what's going on in the world if we're not even going to make some type of impact. It might not be your job to save the world. That's not my portion. To save the world, that's not what I'm supposed to do. Maybe it's not what you're supposed to do. But I can't complain if I ain't making no type of impact. So that's just something to think about. And so you just have to think what your calling is. There he is. Jacoby, how are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you do on the daily, because you impact our youth daily. And I appreciate that. Jacoby says that's the main reason why my favorite age to teach are the preschoolers. The earlier, the more impactful. Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. Jacoby, I agree with you. When I worked in K through 12, them babies, the younger, absolutely. I mean, I enjoyed everyone. I just knew from my experience working with those, with the youngest, yes, it's very impactful, because they're so impressionable. They're still learning. My students and loved ones get tired of me saying everything in the world has Listen, is that a cancer thing? Right? Is that because we're cancers? Because I say that a lot. Mine is balance and happy medium. And some people may be like, oh, wow, look at this. But yes, I do believe in balance and that there is a happy medium, right? The new normals of today may not be agreeable to the elders. Mm-hmm. And thank you for joining me, Malik. I appreciate you. That makes sense. I can see that. Absolutely. All right, so let's see here. So what else? Because I'm going to be wrapping this up here in a minute. Okay, so y'all also know that there was a question asked about the business side and whether you're in music or not, this applies to you. First, Kevin is a techie, Q or low, right? He's a techie. And he talked about how the music industry moved to the digital production and how everything changed. And now you can collaborate with someone on the other side of the world without being in the same room. Technology opened that door wide. But here's the flip side that he warned about. And I think that in this age, the age of information, the information age, we're really starting to see this. He said, your phone, your computer, those are tools. You can master them or they can master you. Think about that. You can master them or they can master you. And that's a choice that we make every single day, right? And I feel like we're really seeing that. We're seeing how our phones and computers impact us daily. And in some cases, they are mastering us. Or some people, maybe not you, but they become the master of the universe in many ways, if I'm just saying, right? Another question that was asked was label deal or independent. And Kevin, he talked about being independent, but you have to understand the business. You have to be able to build a team. And y'all, he got real about how teams fall apart. Y'all remember that conversation? Once money enters the picture, and y'all already know, Egos start clashing and suddenly nobody wants to collaborate. Everybody wants to be the one. Everybody want to be the star, right? And something he said stuck with me. The love of money is the root of all evil, right? Remember he got into that? And he's watched how money has destroyed teams, relationships, careers. And so his advice, stay humble, stay in your lane, build something that lasts, not something that just looks good, right? I thought that was pretty deep. And I thought that was really great information as well. So we're going to get into this last little conversation. If y'all got some comments or whatever, feel free to put them in chat. I'm going to bring them up. So one thing Kevin talked about was relationship with self. Huge. I'm a big fan of relationship of self. Because to me, it ties everything together. Kevin was asked about his relationship with self and how his journey in the music and philanthropy has shaped who he is on the inside. And he got quiet for a second, but he answered. And he said, we cannot do it ourselves, right? He said that we have to be open to being influenced, being taught, being guided, because that's how we grow, right? So it's that growth piece. And I believe he talked about Dr. Tony Evans and his teaching and, him being a man of faith and purpose. And he said that it helped him to understand who he is beyond the music, beyond the plaques, beyond the legacy. And then he said something that, I've really thought about, and I'm paraphrasing. You could walk out your door right now and go play in the snow and be so happy, but that's happiness, right? But when we put happiness into things that aren't life, we miss it, right? Because you're already happy. You might not just know it yet because maybe you're consumed or putting that happiness into other things. I thought that was really profound, right? And I can agree with that. I like to find happiness. Joy is always the goal for me, right? But anyway, sit with that for a second. So anyway, he went further. There was a conversation how he said something about how a random stranger in a grocery store can change your whole life. And he said blessings can come through unexpected people, right? And I remember him giving credit to his engineer in his career for literally pulling him out of destructive habits and teaching him everything he needed to know. Do y'all have that person? Do y'all have that person that helped y'all to pull y'all out? Right? To feed into you, to give you some knowledge, to give you some seeds. Do y'all have that person? Right? So anyway, he talked about his engineer. And then he talked about how that relationship opened the door to him working with Nas, Tupac. I'm thinking about a friend of mine because a friend of mine has a name goes by Nas, not Nas, but anyway, so Nas and Tupac, and when we talk about relationship with self, with being humble enough to let others in, it starts recognizing that your blessing might be standing right in front of you. Some of those chance encounters can totally change your life forever, can take your life into a new direction. And I think it's really important to be open. It's really important to be open. Because you have to be open enough to see it. I'm one of those people that feel that, everybody that I meet, I can learn from anybody. And I was having this conversation with someone who disagreed that they couldn't learn from everybody. I'm one of those people, I can learn from anybody, whether it's somebody who was married 11 times to whether it's an elder. I learned so much from children, from preschoolers, kindergartners, even my students now, as a professor, I can learn from anybody. That took being able to be open, right? And I feel like it's so many advantages to just having that mind frame, because for me, it allows me to not be in a box. It allows me to still elevate and grow, because growth is everything to me. I'm just saying. What else y'all got? I see y'all. The dark side of music industry is AI generated music being pushed through the algorithm, but humans still winning. Shout out to Kalani and Kendrick Lamar on their Grammy. Absolutely. Definitely shout out. Kendrick, y'all know Kendrick is one of my favorites. I'll never forget when I met Kendrick Lamar. It was when I worked in radio, and he was another one. He was so humble and just, he was one of my favorite people, one of my favorite artists that I've ever met. Kendrick Lamar is amazing. Like, his energy, all of that. So let's see here. Hey, B. Hi, Brandon. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you. That was a very good lesson about happiness. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. So Tonali says, joy is internal and a decision. Happiness is external, happenstance and fleeting. Choose joy. Absolutely. Give me joy. I want joy. Joy, 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 joy. All right. So let's see here. So a wrap up. Let me go ahead and just bring this all the way back. So Kevin, he walked into that episode as a legendary producer, but he walked out, at least in my mind, as something more than that. Okay. He walked out as a man who looked at everything he built. He built it. He built it. And everything that he had been through, every loss and every blessing. And he said, what can I do with this now? How can this serve somebody else? That's amazing. That's amazing. And y'all, and I feel like that's the heart of what we talk about on Relationship Soup. Relationships just aren't people we love romantically. It's not. And I never wanted Relationship Soup to just be about that. Ouch. There's a million podcasts out there, right, that talk about romantic relationships, and that's great. That romantic relationships are significant. I am not downplaying it at all. Okay. It's the relationship we have with our work, our community, our purpose, ourselves. And when we get those right, I feel that everything can fall into place. And one thing that I say, even at the end of most episodes, it starts with you. It starts with self, right? Because if self is all over the place, a lot of times everything else is not in alignment. When self is alignment with self equals alignment in other things. Or at least it opens the door or sets the intention for that. But that's just my opinion. So tonight, I want you to take something from Kevin. It's a reminder to lead with purpose over fame, right? Whether it's honesty about grief being a doorway to growth, whether it's that simple truth that happiness isn't in the things we chase, it's already in us. Take hold of it, right? Yeah, so that's what I have. Let's see. Greg, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you so much. Hug that grandbaby for me. How that grandbaby doing, Greg? Oh, and you already know you got to get him a copy of Hello Me, and I'll sign it. DM me and let me know if you want a copy, because I'm gonna be moving these books. And I'm gonna keep y'all informed, right? So anyway, I appreciate you for joining me, Greg. And like I said, hug that grandbaby for me. All right, y'all. So of course, y'all already know that I love affirmations, and it is time for me to get out of here. Okay, it is time for me to get out of here. Let me go ahead and put this affirmation, because y'all know how I feel about affirmations. Is it going to post to Facebook as well? I guess it's not posting to Facebook. Let's see. Is it posting to Facebook tonight? Okay, let me go ahead and bring this on. This is kind of long. All right. So affirmation for tonight. I'm open to the infinite good that is already flowing toward me. Every relationship I honor, every seed of purpose I plant, and every moment I show up as myself is an invitation for my good to find me. I do not wait for my blessing. I am the blessing. And I trust the process that is unfolding now, right? So sit with that. You are the blessing. You are absolutely the blessing, right? You are. All right, so let's see here. Now, y'all already know I'm going to do my housekeeping. We're going to get out of here because it's that time. It is that time. So, I definitely appreciate y'all joining me. Y'all already know. So please make sure that you're liking, subscribing across all platforms. Relationship Soup, period. You got to put the period, or you're going to be somewhere else. definitely come and join the group. Come and join the forum, y'all. All right. It's Relationship Soup Group on Facebook. And then if you want to follow me, it's Relationship Soup LLC. We have the greeting cards. It's relationshipsoup.com, right? So get on there, y'all. Get on there, get on there, get on there. And of course, yeah, I'm pulling the whole box, right? Y'all, Hello Me, available on Amazon right now. Ebook, well, the ebook will be released February 23rd. Paperback. Got the paperback, right? Let me pull this out. We have the paperback. We have the hardback, y'all. Hello Me, right? Get it on Amazon today. The QR code is in the corner. I think I'm pointing right. Right? It is in the corner. Feel free to scan that QR code. Order Hello Me. Give it to that baby that deserves it, that deserving baby, or somebody that you see that needs to speak life. You might even need it. And truly, and I'm going to share these pictures because y'all have already been sending me pictures. I've gotten the DMs, the inbox, the text messages and calls. I love y'all so much. I have grown folks talking about, hey, you want to know what my favorite affirmation was? It was the one. I'm going to show y'all this one because it was so special. I'm going to bring it on. You know, I'm sharing a little sneak peek with this book. I'm sharing a little sneak peek. One of the people that bought it was this. They really loved this affirmation right here. It is L is for loved, right? Legend is love, right? Look how Legend loved by his parents, y'all. Y'all got to get in on this. Hello Me, available on Amazon. And like I said, I do have some copies on hand, and you know, I'm going to be having some stuff come up. And so just watch my social media pages and I will be sharing that. So you won't be in the code. You only going to be in the code if you don't look at my page. That's all I'm saying. But Hello Me, y'all. Hello Me. Bless them babies with the voice of being able to speak live to themselves and seeing themselves through a positive light, because this world gonna tear them up. Y'all already know. Y'all grown. Some of y'all going through it right now. Some of y'all can't even speak life to yourself. Some of y'all need to say Hello Me. All right. So like I said, pre-order Amazon, that QR code in the corner, hit it up. All right. So y'all already know it's time for me to get out of here. Special shout out to Kevin Rhames, Q Low. Thank you so much for the knowledge that you dropped last week. This will forever be in the space, and I appreciate that. I appreciate what you do, brother. So keep doing what you're doing. Special shout out to my mama. Mama, thank you for listening. The Grishams, y'all be seeing them on here. Them Grishams, they be on there. We all just met. You know how you be finding some of your family early in life? I mean, later in life. Well, some early, but some later. You be real grown, and then you be finding some of your family members because somebody that did 21andMe, and you know. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, so I met them and they have been so supportive. Shout out to Lyric, my Aunt Anna, and to all the regular listeners. I appreciate y'all, and to everyone even joining the first time. I really appreciate y'all. So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna bring these on right quick. Joe Meadows. Thank you so much, Joe. And thank you for joining me. I really appreciate that. Let's see. Greg Roby. He is great, Lisa. I show him your pic and he just smiles. Oh, that baby smile. Look, I remember y'all was about to get something to eat, Greg, and I seen him and he was like, hey, pick me up. And I picked him up because you already know how I feel about them kids, them babies. Yeah, he be smiling, huh? Okay, I'll be having that impact though. I can make a brother smile. All right, so let's see here. Brian Gill, 8186. Hey, Sue. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Ruth Hamilton, how are you, beautiful? Long time. I'm blessed by the best. And we got to catch up, Ruth. We really do. Absolutely, cousin. I appreciate y'all so much. All right, so like I said, y'all, you know, definitely get the book. Like, follow across all platforms. You watching this on YouTube, do me a favor. Hit that like, hit subscribe. Share this episode across all platforms. Let's grow Relationship Soup, because we talk about stuff on here. We really do. We be talking about all kind of stuff on the soup. All right. So let's see here. Is there anything else that I want to give y'all before we get out of this space? Like I said, y'all, it always starts with you. Love yourself. Be of service, but be of service to yourself too. Right. So I love y'all. I really do. I love y'all so much. And it's genuine. It's all from the heart. Even if I never see you, your energy, you watching this, I love you. And I thank you for your support. But until we meet next time, peace.